Hello, I'm Henry Woodcock from IRESS, and I'm joined today by Robert Sinclair and Peter Williams. We're here to discuss the findings of the 2015 IRESS Mortgage Intermediary Survey. The survey was conducted to look into lender best practice and what intermediaries want from their mortgage partners. So to begin, Robert, from an intermediary perspective, what were the main takeaways for the report for you?
I think the key thing clearly from a learning perspective is around scanning and attaching documents. There's a clear need from an intermediary perspective, and some lenders providing good technology behind that, but others need to step up to the plate and get there. There's another aspect, I think, which is probably a bit of a learning curve for some lenders. So there's clear issues in there around some lenders producing some excellent numbers in here, and other lenders, against the same question, producing some very poor numbers. So hopefully as you go around and give feedback to individual lenders, there's learning can be developed through them to get themselves all up the scale to the standard we all want in this industry.
From a lender perspective, Peter, what are the survey findings that lenders can use to enhance their proposition to intermediaries in the market?
The findings do, I think, show areas where there's clearly room for improvement. They show also where there are lots of areas of considerable agreement in terms of what prioritisation both sides give to it and how they're responding to it. So I find, there's positives and negatives, that's good. I think underneath this is a context that we can't ignore. I think the other point I'd want to stress is the risk and regulatory issue, that underneath this, there's going to be limits about what lenders can do to respond to brokers' concerns, because they want to make sure that all the due diligence and conduct risk issues are covered off. And I think that will always remain a tension in terms of what brokers want and what lenders can provide.
Robert, the survey shows that service level information is sporadically provided by lenders. What would intermediaries like lenders to provide?
Clearly, a number of brokers are being assessed by some lenders on their quality nowadays. And one of the things that brokers have been requesting for some time is consistent data across the lender community on things like application to offer dates. So the number of days that takes to happen. So we had some consistent measure around that. Completed application to offer stage, that would be really useful. I think clearly coming out of this survey as well, call waiting times, call handling times, how long it takes to get through to certain lenders is a concern for some brokers, particularly in busy times. So lenders prepared to publish that type of data would also be useful.
Peter, we're seeing the digitalisation of every aspect of our lives, including buying a mortgage and a house. What are we going to see coming from lenders in the coming years?
I think the market will become ever more web dependent. People do want smarter, faster. They do want to know where things are in the system. And so we'll see that process roll through. Consumers expect it, brokers expect it, and lenders will increasingly provide it. There's obviously going to be some constraints on that. IT legacy systems are a big issue in terms of people have inherited systems. It's very expensive to change a lender system as compared to a broker system. These are big firms, so that's going to take time. At the end of the day, it will be about a competitive choice about what lenders want to invest in this. Don't forget, many have substantial direct businesses as well as their intermediary business. They will be making choices about how much priority they give it.
So Robert and Peter, what are your views of the intermediary market over the next 12 to 18 months, especially as more regulation comes in from the EU?
I think the challenge for the next 12 months is really the gap between lender appetite to lend and consumer apathy to actually remortgage at the moment. The kind of target numbers that have been talked about in the market of 225 billion gross lending is going to be a hard number to achieve given what we're seeing at the front end coming in from consumers. So the challenge for us, I think, is to incentivise brokers to really go out there and work hard to find the consumers who are able to go through the kind of affordability assessments, remortgage assessments that they're now and understand the type of great interest rate products that are out there at the moment and engage with those consumers and get them to market. That is the biggest challenge. Regulation is going to be part of the landscape, but probably not until the back end of this year when we see European Mortgage Directive coming at a broker level. Clearly a big ask for lenders during this year, but for the broker community, not a problem during the bulk of 2015.
Like Robert, I'd agree, clearly the market is going to grow, and I think the intermediary market in particular, I see that growing. There's more market segments emerging where consumers are looking for advice and guidance. The market is more complex. I expect intermediary services to grow, so I think that's a given. I think it's going to be a difficult year, election, various other factors, which means it's probably slow in the beginning of the year, maybe speeds up towards the end of the year. I think people will struggle to get away the kind of volumes that have already been spoken about. Regulation both enhances the market in some ways, because it means there are more things to be worked through, so that probably draws brokers more into the frame, because consumers are more constrained by regulations. That will take brokers more to advise them around it. But of course, it also complicates it. It means there are more tests and hurdles to get through. So I think EU regulation is a mixed blessing.
Thank you for your time today and your support of the survey. In conclusion, intermediaries are the linchpin of the mortgage market, especially given the regulation change we've had in the last 12 months and the expectation the market is going to grow to 70 or even 75% of the mortgage market in the next year. Lenders recognise this and have made significant steps to make the systems more intuitive and easier for brokers to use. But there's clearly more that can be done to make the application process as seamless, efficient and transparent as possible. The move towards a paperless and digital process must be coming. For your copy of the 2015 IRESS Intermediary Mortgage Survey, please click on the link below. Thank you for watching.